Most people assume vegetables need full, blazing sun all day to grow well. 6 to 8 hours of direct light seems like the golden rule every gardening book repeats. It sounds logical, but surprisingly, a surprising number of vegetables actually thrive in partial shade, and some even prefer it. They stay cooler in summer heat, resist bolting and wilting, need less watering, and in some cases produce sweeter, more tender harvests than their sun-drenched counterparts. Before we get into the list, if you've got a shady corner of your yard you thought was useless for growing food, hit that like button, subscribe if you're new here, and let us know in the comments what city you're watching from. Now let's dig in. That's because shade gives gardeners something full sun often cannot. Balance. Cooler soil temperatures that hold moisture longer, protection from harsh afternoon rays that scorch leaves and dry out roots, slower bolting so crops like lettuce and spinach don't turn bitter and go to seed the moment summer heat arrives, and the ability to grow food in spaces most people write off completely. Think about it. Every yard has that spot under a tree, along a north-facing fence, or beside a tall structure where the sun barely reaches. Conventional wisdom says that space is dead weight, unusable for anything but decorative shrubs or moss. But that mindset ignores how many vegetables actually evolved in forest understories, filtered light, and cooler climates where dappled shade was their natural habitat, not their enemy. Shade isn't a limitation. It's a different set of rules, and once you know which vegetables are built for it, that forgotten corner of your garden becomes some of the most productive real estate you own. You get consistent yields with less stress, less watering, and far less babysitting than a sun-scorched bed ever demands. So which vegetables actually pull this off? Let's find out. In today's video, we're counting down 12 vegetables that thrive in shade without needing full sun to produce a real harvest. These aren't struggling, half-alive plants clinging to survival in low light. These are crops that genuinely prefer it, some producing better flavor, better texture, and more consistent growth than they ever would baking under a blazing summer sky. We're starting at number 12 and working our way down to the very best pick for shady gardens. Each one solves a different problem, whether that's beating the heat, resisting bolting, cutting down on watering, or simply making use of space most gardeners assume is wasted. And stay until the end, because the final vegetable on this list isn't just shade tolerant. It's one of the few crops that can actually lose flavor and quality in too much direct sun, making shade its ideal, natural growing condition rather than just a workaround. If you've got a shady patch you've been ignoring, you're about to see it completely differently. Let's get started. At number 12, we have lettuce. Most people picture lettuce growing in wide open, sun-soaked garden beds, but surprisingly, partial shade often produces crisper, more flavorful lettuce than full sun ever could. Here's why. Full sun is rarely perfect for this crop. It brings intense heat, rapid moisture loss, and long daylight hours that force lettuce to bolt, turning bitter and tough within days. Shade solves that problem immediately. Cooler temperatures slow the plant's internal clock, keeping it in that tender, leafy growth stage far longer. The result is weeks of extra harvest time and leaves that stay sweet instead of turning sharp and woody. Another huge advantage is reduced watering. Shaded soil holds moisture far longer than sun-exposed beds. That's one reason gardeners in hot climates rely on shade to keep lettuce alive through summer at all. Busy gardeners also love how forgiving shaded lettuce becomes. It tolerates missed watering days without wilting into a crispy, inedible mess. That means fewer casualties and more consistent harvests. Sometimes the secret to better lettuce isn't more sunlight. It's cooler, calmer growing conditions that let the plant do what it does best. Moving down to number 11, we have spinach. Most people picture spinach as a cool weather crop that still needs plenty of direct sun to fill out. But surprisingly, partial shade often keeps spinach productive far longer than a fully exposed bed ever allows. Here's why. Full sun is rarely perfect for this crop. It speeds up bolting, triggers premature flowering, and turns leaves tough and bitter almost overnight once temperatures climb. Shade solves that problem immediately. Lower light levels slow the bolting trigger, keeping the plant focused on leaf production instead of rushing to seed. The result is a harvest window that can stretch for weeks instead of days. Another huge advantage is leaf quality. Shaded spinach tends to grow more tender, with less of the fibrous, chewy texture sun-stressed plants develop. That's one reason chefs often prefer shade-grown spinach for salads over the tougher, sun-hardened kind. Busy gardeners also appreciate how little attention shaded spinach demands. It resists wilting on hot afternoons without constant watering. That means fewer trips outside with the hose and more consistent results. Sometimes the secret to better spinach isn't more light. It's cooler, steadier conditions that keep the plant exactly where you want it. Coming in at number 10, we have kale. Most people picture kale as a tough, sun-loving crop built for open fields. But surprisingly, partial shade often keeps kale sweeter and more tender than full sun ever manages. Here's why. Full sun is rarely perfect for this crop. It toughens leaves and intensifies bitterness as the plant struggles with heat stress. Shade solves that problem immediately, keeping growth slow and steady. The result is milder, more tender leaves. Busy gardeners also appreciate how shaded kale resists wilting, needing far less watering to stay productive. Sometimes better kale isn't about more sun. It's about calmer conditions. At number 9, we have arugula. Most people picture arugula as a fast, sun-hungry salad green. But surprisingly, shade often keeps arugula milder and less peppery than a sun-scorched patch ever produces. Here's why. Full sun is rarely perfect for this crop. It pushes arugula to bolt fast, turning the leaves sharp, spicy, and almost inedible. Shade solves that problem immediately, slowing growth and keeping flavor balanced. The result is tender, mild leaves for weeks longer. Busy gardeners also love how shaded arugula holds up without daily watering. Sometimes better arugula isn't about sun, it's about restraint. Moving down to number 8, we have Swiss chard. Most people picture chard as a hardy crop that needs full sun to build those thick, colorful stalks. But surprisingly, partial shade often keeps chard producing longer without the stress cracks and tough leaves full sun causes. Here's why. Full sun is rarely perfect for this crop. Intense heat causes leaves to toughen and stalks to become fibrous. Shade solves that problem immediately, keeping growth slow and leaves tender. The result is a longer, steadier harvest. Busy gardeners also appreciate how shaded chard tolerates missed watering days without collapsing. Sometimes better chard isn't about more sun, it's about consistency. At number 7, we have peas. Most people picture peas climbing trellises in full, open sun. But surprisingly, partial shade often keeps peas producing longer without the heat stress that shuts down pod formation early. Here's why. Full sun is rarely perfect for this crop. Rising temperatures cause peas to stop flowering and pods to toughen fast. Shade solves that problem immediately, keeping the plant cooler and extending the flowering window. The result is more pods over a longer season. Busy gardeners also love how shaded peas need less frequent watering to stay productive. Sometimes better peas aren't about more sun, they're about staying cool. Coming in at number 6, we have broccoli. Most people picture broccoli as a heavy feeder that demands full sun to form tight, healthy heads. But surprisingly, partial shade often prevents the bitter, loose heads that full sun heat stress tends to cause. Here's why. Full sun is rarely perfect for this crop. Intense heat triggers premature flowering, known as buttoning, along with tough stalks and bitter flavor. Shade solves that problem immediately by keeping soil and air temperatures cooler, giving the plant more time to form dense, flavorful heads before bolting. The result is larger, more uniform heads with better taste. Another huge advantage is reduced stress during heat waves. Shaded broccoli handles temperature swings without shutting down production. That's one reason gardeners in warmer regions rely on shade to grow broccoli successfully at all. Busy gardeners also appreciate how shaded broccoli needs less frequent watering, since cooler soil retains moisture far longer. Sometimes the secret to better broccoli isn't more sunlight. It's cooler, steadier conditions that let the head develop properly. At number 5, we have beets. Most people picture beets as a root crop that needs full sun to swell properly underground. But surprisingly, partial shade often produces beets with better texture and less woodiness than sun-stressed plants. Here's why. Full sun is rarely perfect for this crop. Intense heat causes beets to grow fibrous and tough as the plant diverts energy to survive stress. Shade solves that problem immediately, allowing slower, steadier root development. The result is tender, sweeter beets. Busy gardeners also love how shaded beets tolerate inconsistent watering without cracking. Sometimes better beets aren't about more sun, they're about patience. At number 4, we have radishes. Most people picture radishes as a quick, sun-loving crop. But surprisingly, shade often prevents the pithy, overly spicy radishes that heat stress creates. Here's why. Full sun speeds growth so fast that radishes turn woody and sharp. Shade solves that problem immediately, slowing growth for crisp, mild roots. The result is consistently tender radishes. Busy gardeners also appreciate how shaded radishes rarely split from uneven watering. Sometimes better radishes aren't about more sun, they're about slowing down. Breaking into the top 3, let's talk about ginger. Most people picture ginger growing under blazing tropical sun. But surprisingly, ginger actually thrives in shade, since it naturally grows as an understory plant beneath taller forest canopy. Here's why. Full sun is rarely perfect for this crop. Direct rays scorch ginger's broad leaves and dry out the shallow rhizomes it depends on for growth. Shade solves that problem immediately by mimicking ginger's natural forest floor habitat, protecting leaves and preserving soil moisture. The result is healthier plants and larger, more flavorful rhizomes at harvest. Another huge advantage is consistent soil moisture. Shaded spots hold humidity longer, which ginger absolutely requires to develop properly underground. Busy gardeners also love how low-maintenance shaded ginger becomes, since it rarely needs supplemental watering once established. Sometimes the secret to better ginger isn't more sun. It's recreating the forest floor it evolved for. At number 2, we have mint. Most people picture mint sprawling across sunny herb gardens. But surprisingly, mint often grows more aggressively and stays more flavorful in partial shade than in full sun. Here's why. Full sun is rarely perfect for this crop. It dries out mint's shallow roots quickly and can scorch its tender leaves. Shade solves that problem immediately by keeping soil moist and leaves protected. The result is lush, fragrant growth all season long. Busy gardeners also appreciate how shaded mint requires far less watering to thrive. Sometimes better mint isn't about more sun, it's about moisture. And finally, taking the crown at number 1, cilantro. If there is one herb that truly seems designed for shade, this is it. Most people picture cilantro growing in open, sunny herb beds. But surprisingly, shade often keeps cilantro productive for weeks longer than full sun ever allows. Here's why. Full sun is rarely perfect for this crop. Heat causes cilantro to bolt almost immediately, turning leaves bitter and unusable within days. Shade solves that problem immediately, delaying bolting and preserving that bright, citrusy flavor. The result is a dramatically longer harvest window. Busy gardeners also love how shaded cilantro needs less watering, while staying productive far longer than sun-grown plants. It's the perfect example of how shade doesn't limit flavor, Sometimes, shade actually unlocks it. The biggest mistake many gardeners make is assuming full, blazing sun automatically produces the biggest, healthiest harvest. But sometimes, a quiet, shaded corner creates far better growing conditions than an open, sun-scorched bed ever could. Cooler soil, steadier moisture, slower bolting, tender leaves, and far more consistent yields with far less daily maintenance. That's why so many vegetables actually thrive in shade. You don't need a wide-open, sun-drenched plot to grow real, satisfying food. Sometimes, a small, overlooked patch of shade can outperform your biggest, sunniest garden bed. And once you experience how productive shade can become, you'll start seeing those dim corners, fence lines, and spots under trees in a completely different way. Because successful gardening isn't always about having more sunlight. Sometimes, it's simply about using the space you already have more intelligently. If this video changed the way you look at your own backyard, do me a huge favor. Hit that subscribe button right now, tap the notification bell so you never miss the next list, and drop a comment telling me which vegetable on this list surprised you the most. It genuinely helps this channel keep growing, and I'd love to see you back here for the next one. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.